Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are watching heartbreak game of Vasil Ivanchuk and Daniel Naroditsky of the 11th round in the 2024 FIDE World Rapid and Blitz Chess Championships. The reason why this game was so heartbreaking, as you saw from the preview of this video, is that Vasil Ivanchuk unfortunately timed out in a very intense game until the very end. You will see the game changed so much, and both players had chances. Vasil Ivanchuk was winning and he was going to win, but unfortunately in the last seconds his condition turned against him, and unfortunately he couldn't manage to convert this game into a win, after which he really couldn't take it, or he was really having hard time taking it. Of course, when you have such a good position and unfortunately you are unable to convert it, it's always very sad. But Daniel Naroditsky is one of the best blitz players in the game and online as well, so he always creates some counter chances, which he did in this game as well, and that's what makes this game so special. So without further ado, you saw the intro. The game will be really special. We will go into the game. Vasil Ivanchuk opened the game with d4. We have knight to f6 for Danya, c4, g6, f3 with the idea to go for e4, bishop g7 for Danya, e4, immediately grabbing the center, and right now it is right time for black to go with d6 to get ready for c5 or e5 pawn breaks and counter striking in the center. Game continued with bishop e3, developing move for Vasil Ivanchuk, castle kingside, and knight to c3, another developing move for Vasil Ivanchuk as well. We have a6 with the idea to later go for b5, and also this move stops this knight from jumping on the b5 square. Bishop continues his development with bishop d3. We have knight f to d7, now rerouting this knight and also opening up this long diagonal for this dark squared bishop. We have knight g to e2. Vasil Ivanchuk completes his development and he is now getting ready for a castle. Game continued with c5 in this position for Daniel Naroditsky. He wants to offer a trade, and if everything goes in Daniel Naroditsky's plan, according to his plan, then he will have an open bishop. Of course, Vasil Ivanchuk doesn't want to allow that, and he at least blocks it with d5. So now for any kind of pawn breaks, you would need to play e6. Yes, this bishop is opened, but for now this bishop is aiming at this knight, which is really well defended. So for now, not a big use of this bishop. Game continued with knight to e5 for Daniel Naroditsky, now threatening to take a bishop's pair. a4 was played for Vasil Ivanchuk. Computer gives this marks this move as a great move, because right now b5 is no longer a possibility. We have knight b to d7 for Danya, and right now we have b3 to try and just keep this pawn simply to be protected, because right now black might try to go something like knight to b6, and it might create some kind of problems for white. Game continued with knight picking up on d3 with a check, queen takes on d3, and right now we have f5 for Daniel Naroditsky. Daniel now wants to open the position since this king is still in the center. He wants to create some counterplay. Also, d5 is one of the possibilities. There is always this square for this knight here on e5, and right now the move that was recommended was to castle for Vasil Ivanchuk, but rook to d1 was played, which computer marked as a mistake here, because unfortunately it allows the move that Daniel immediately founds, and he finds this brilliant b5. It looks like this is a free, but it is not. I will show you now what happened in the game. C takes on b5 is the best move. A takes on b5 with the idea to open up this rook and invade on a file. We have a taking up on b5. Now just to show you, of course, what would happen if let's say queen takes on b5 was played. Then we have a bishop takes on c3 with a check, and after knight takes on c3 we have this bishop to a6 tactic, and right now it is really difficult. Your queen is basically trapped. You don't have anything to go with this queen, so you have to be careful that it looked like this queen would keep this pawn structure intact, but it's actually a lost queen. So always tactics on the board. That is the reason why a takes on b5 was played, and our game continued with knight to e5 here for black. Daniel Naroditsky now takes the initiative. As you can see, he has advantage on the clock, and also computer gives this almost 1 point advantage. Queen retreats on c2. We have f takes on e4. We have knight picking up on e4, and right now we have queen a5 check for Daniel Naroditsky. In the game, knight 2 to c3 was played, which is actually the best move of the position. You had other options to cover this check, of course. Like for example, bishop to d2 is simply not good because queen takes on b5, and now complete devastation of the position. Pretty much everything is hanging, you cannot castle, and that is the reason why this wasn't played. So Vasil Ivanchuk played the best move, and this is how game continued after knight 2 to c3. We have a brilliant sacrifice by Daniil Naroditsky. If you saw this game, then you know. If you don't know, then you can search it for yourself. If you found this brilliant knight takes on f3 with a check, that's good for you. Congratulations, you have a sharp tactics, sharp eye for tactics. We have g takes on f3, and right now rook takes on f3. Completely now, this king is now naked. You want to attack it. Yes, you sacrificed a few pawns, but the computer gives, as you can see, black advantage. Although Vasil Ivanchuk has, by computer evaluation, 2 points of advantage in a material. In human perspective, especially when playing blitz games, this is really difficult to defend. You have to be aware of all sorts of tactics and tricks, and that is why Vasil Ivanchuk played this. Unfortunately, Vasil Ivanchuk now creates a mistake, and he makes a huge mistake with king to d2. Now the winning move here for black was simply to go queen b4 by computer choice. And right now let me just show you what was the idea of black's move. Let's say you play something random like rook h to g1. We have bishop takes on c3 with a check, and after knight takes we have bishop to f5, activating this dangerous bishop. Queen has to go on b2, and right now rook goes on a3 with the idea to pick up on b3 and completely invading the position, and this is game over for white. So king to d2, a huge mistake here made by Vasil Ivanchuk, but Danya also makes mistake. He didn't play queen to b4. Of course, as you can see, this is a blitz game, and he couldn't find the move, but he makes a terrible blunder with bishop to d4. Now, if you can spot why this is a blunder, congratulations, but the tactic kinda shows itself. The tactic point of it, now that your queen and rook are aligned on the same file, and right now rook a1 is a brilliant skewer tactic. Your rook is hanging, your queen is attacked, and right now you have to decide, will you give your queen for 2 rooks, and is this any good for you right now? After this, bishop takes on e3 was played for Danya, and after this, of course, you have to move your king, and king e2 is the best move. As you can see from the evaluation, white is practically winning. We have bishop to g4. Danya always tries to create some counterattack. Well, right now, immediately, he takes this queen. We have rook takes on a5, and right now king to d3. You want to get rid of these discovered checks. Of course, you cannot get rid of all checks, but as you can see, moving this bishop and giving a discovered check is not that scary, because there is simply no pieces of white that are on the dark square. So moving this bishop and giving check is not too scary. We have bishop to d4 for Danya, king goes on c4. All great moves for Vasil Ivanchuk. 8 seconds on the clock. Now we are coming to the most tense part of the game. We have bishop to f5, another pin, queen goes on d2, we have bishop takes on c3, we have knight picks up on c3, and we have e5 on the board now played for Danya, which is another mistake, but this position is practically losing. Computer recommends here playing rook to h3 as a move, but you have to play active, and this is what Danya tried with 5 seconds on the clock. Game continued with rook to e1 here. We have rook to f4 check for Naroditsky. And now Vasil Ivanchuk decided to pick up this after rook to f4. The best continuation was to actually cover this check with knight to e4, but Ivanchuk finds another great move here. As you can see from the evaluation bar, he actually gives up his queen for this rook, and after e takes on f4, now he has a winning endgame with knight goes on e4, threatening to pick up this pawn and basically win a game immediately. You have to trade here. Rook takes on e4. Now this pawn is hanging. This pawn will be weak. This king is cut off, and it is just a matter of precision and technique. We have g5. Danya tries with some counterplay on the king side. We have b6, immediately going for the promotion here. Danya has to react. He goes with rook to a8. We have king to b5, now getting ready to go here and simply pick up these pawns or promote with the pressure on this rook. We have f3 here on the board. Danya continues his counterplay, really intense. As you can see, 4 seconds on the clock. We have rook to e1, a great move, still huge advantage for white. White is winning here. g4, king goes on c6. we have h5 on the board, trying to create a passer here. King picks up on d6 for white, and it is practically over. But yes, Vasil Ivanchuk still has the advantage in this position. But rook to f8 was played for Daniel Naroditsky, kind of a last attempt in this victory attempt. But after b7 we have h4 on the board here, played for Daniel Naroditsky. I mean, it's good to try, but after rook to g1, which was a huge mistake, now actually black is winning, which happened in the game. You have so little time, you have to make fast decisions. I will show you right now what should be played. After h4, rook to f1 was actually winning, because right now after g3 we have simple trade here, h takes, and now you sacrifice your rook here for this pawn. Rook picks up on f3, and now you promote with a check, and this is a winning endgame. I will just show you. You have to block with your rook. And now queen to c7 was best. Now in case of g2, queen simply picks up and covers the square. Now if you get greedy and go for rook to f1, this is unfortunately a blunder again, because right now queen c8 check, king g7, queen g4 check, and the game is done pretty much for you. You will soon fall to some fork, this pawn will fall, and this is game over for Daniel Naroditsky. But rook to g1 was played due to time trouble of Vasil Ivanchuk, and right now f2, pardon me, after rook to g1, f2 was played, and this is actually a huge miss by Danya again. F2 is a miss because right now this allows rook picks up on g2, and after king goes on h7, right now computer actually recommend pushing for a queen here. This is the way that computer wants this to be played. And after rook picks, we have rook picking up on h4, and after king g6, we have rook to f4, and right now let's say rook picks up on b3, rook picks up on f2, or king to c7, both are good, and this is how this game should be played. But after king to h7, it is completely natural move here to continue with rook picks up on h4, which kinda lowers your advantage, and again you are losing. Chess is such a difficult game, as Hikaru would say. And after king to g6, game continued with rook to g4, the last move of the position, where Vasil Ivanchuk simply timed out. He couldn't pull away any more moves. The game was too tense, and this is how this game ended, as you saw from the preview or intro of this video. As you can see, Vasil Ivanchuk was really having hard time dealing with it, because simply he lost to two top chess players in rounds before. Unfortunately, he's not that fast, because he's a bit old right now, and he was a legend of the game. He still is a legend of the game, but sometimes it feels bad when you cannot make it, when your mind is still good but your body simply cannot follow up. Now let's see why this is losing. So let's say now after rook to g4 check, as I mentioned, one of the ways, actually recommended move here, if you already allowed this, is to actually go for rook to f4, allowing a sacrifice, and after rook takes on f4, you promote, but black also promotes, and the idea is that you simply hope that you will try and give some perpetual checks, but this simply won't work. After this check, king to g5, queen to g7, your king actually walks away safely, and eventually those checks will run off and you will win your game. Of course, this is really hard now that you have time. You might complicate things, sometimes something might happen, some things might happen, but it is really difficult to play when this is a blitz game. There is always chance of a blunder, but this was the way to go. Even in this position you had something to go, but unfortunately Vasil Ivanchuk lost on time. And this is all I prepared for you today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a comment, like, and share this video with other people who enjoy chess. And if you enjoy more content like this, do let me know in the comments below, guys. I really appreciate your time, and we will see each other on the next video. Bye bye.